Hi, Professor Stefero here. This is the video on hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is the third type of bonding. I recommend that you have watched the covalent bonding video prior to looking at this video on hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding is the third type of bonding. This is a weaker kind of bonding than we've talked about with ionic and covalent bonding, and that actually contributes to some special qualities that it can give to the molecules that are associated with life, one of which is that they can form and reform. The hydrogen bond is always going to be associated with hydrogens bonded to an atom that is very electronegative, and examples of that are oxygen and nitrogen. Here the blue arrow shows you the connection of a hydrogen to a nitrogen, and that's the polar covalent bond that's being shown there. Here's another one on this particular molecule over on the other side. But this last arrow is pointing to the hydrogen bond that's occurring now between the hydrogen and the oxygen in this case. So we symbolize it a little differently. As you can see here, the covalent bond is symbolized by a dark solid line, but the hydrogen bond is symbolized by dots between the two atoms that are forming that hydrogen bond. Here's some examples of molecules that are brought together by hydrogen bonding. The two strands of DNA are held together through hydrogen bonds, and you can see those bonds pointed to here in the diagram. So building a DNA molecule requires hydrogen bonding. That hydrogen bonding also is useful when we want to unzip DNA in order to replicate or duplicate the molecule, and that would happen when we want to make new cells. Another place where we see hydrogen bonding is in the formation of proteins. Here we see the complex structure of a protein. That's the ribbon model of this particular protein, and the ribbon model here is identifying its three-dimensional structure, and that's what gives proteins their functionality. They have a specific three-dimensional structure that makes them able to do work in the cell, and a part of that three-dimensional structure occurs because of hydrogen bonding. So if we take a look at the circle here, this region is a corkscrew-like area, and if I go to the enlarged region, you can see where the hydrogen bonds are being formed. The other figure there to the right is another kind of hydrogen bonding that's also found in proteins. And so when we talk about protein structure coming up in a couple of weeks, then you'll be able to apply this idea of hydrogen bonding to protein structure. The most important place where we see hydrogen bonding and the unique interactions between water molecules. Water molecules are polar in that they have polar covalent bonds between the hydrogen and the oxygen, but between the water molecules we're going to see the formation of hydrogen bonds, and again we see that three-dot structure there identifying the position of the hydrogen bond between the hydrogen of one water molecule and the oxygen of the other. Remember, hydrogen is going to be slightly positive here, and the oxygen is going to be slightly negative. So let's take a look at the animation that will describe this unique property of water molecules.
The atoms that make up a water molecule are in a constant tug-of-war over their shared electrons. Oxygen exerts a far stronger pull on the shared electrons than does hydrogen, and so the electrons spend more of their time closer to the oxygen atom. Because of this unequal sharing of electrons, the oxygen atom in a water molecule actually has a slight negative charge, and each hydrogen atom has a slight positive charge, even though the water molecule as a whole is neutral. Because of the unequal sharing of electrons and the resulting positive and negative poles, a water molecule is said to be polar. The polarity of water molecules causes them to be attracted to each other. Since the positively charged atom involved in this special type of attraction is always a hydrogen atom, this kind of bond between molecules is called a hydrogen bond. Each water molecule can hydrogen bond to 4 other water molecules. A hydrogen bond is weak and lasts only a tiny fraction of a second, but it takes a lot of energy to overcome the combined attraction of many hydrogen bonds. This explains water's great capacity to store heat, its high boiling point, surface tension, and several other unusual properties.
This would be a good time to go directly to the water video where we can dig deeper into water's unique properties.